is Arthur Cabral? Well, he ain't half a good player. Sorry. It seemed like the right thing to do at the time. Probably not. Everybody's dropped out. You've stopped watching the video. If you're still here, who is he? He's a striker we have been heavily linked with over the last few days. Somebody pointed him out to me on, I think when I did the Antonio video a couple of days ago, somebody pointed out that we were being heavily linked with this player. And he's a good player. I've gone and had a look. He was somebody I was actually aware of anyway, as I mentioned to the person on the comments on YouTube. My son actually signed him on his FIFA team, and he's been going on about him anyway. So I sort of had half an idea who this player was. He's a Brazilian footballer, which is it's always handy if you're a footballer if you're going to sign for West Ham. Although I've got to say we've had a few in our time who represented West Ham who didn't look too much like footballers, that's for sure. He plays for Basel and he's in hot goal scoring form. Now, as I often say when I look at a lot of these players, sometimes I look at them and I just think, no, it just ain't going to happen. You're not David Moyes' sort of player. And sometimes I just look at a player and I think, yep, Moyes would like this guy. Moyes would definitely take this guy on board. And Cabral certainly falls into that category. He ticks all the Moyes boxes. He really does. Now listen, we're getting into silly season now. There's going to be an awful lot of transfer rumours coming up. We're going to have to try and separate the wheat from the chaff. But all I would say is, do not discount every rumour that you hear. And I'll just give you, look, I think Souček came from left of field. We didn't know too much about it. I think Soufal came from left of field. We didn't know too much about him either. But all I would say is we brought Areola in. We heard lots about Areola. We had 2 months of Areola before we eventually signed him. And also, I think the same can be said, maybe even longer, of Zuma. They couldn't keep either of those a secret. So whilst I think the club would like to keep all of these stories under wraps, they can't keep everything under wraps, and some of them do actually turn out to be true. I think the club probably keep quiet on it, although I think possibly, agents, clubs, the selling club, it might be certainly with an agent advantageous for them to leak the news out there to try and generate a little bit of interest, and this may well be the case. Now, Cabral is a really good player. Let me tell you what he's got about him. He's fast enough. He's not rapid. He's not rapid, but he's fast enough. He'd be one of the fastest players in our team, certainly. I know that's not hard at West Ham. We don't have a lot of really quick players. I do think that's something we need to get involved in. And he's quite leggy, but I think that's a good thing. It wasn't actually until we, I remember we did a video with Chris Akabusi, and we were chatting with Chris, and we were talking about these players that are really fast and have that sort of impact. Real sprinters. I'll sort of give you an example, like a Patson Daka or somebody like a Jamie Vardy. I know they're both at the same club, just 2 quick players that sprang to mind. And it was Chris who said, actually, what you've got to watch out for with these players is they're going to have an awful lot of twitch muscle. If you've got a lot of twitch muscle, it's easy to pull it. If you're going to be constantly doing so, if you've got twitch muscle, you're set up for a sprint, a short sprint. What you're probably not set up to do is to run the 8-9 kilometres in a game that a footballer does, and to keep starting and stopping, sprinting and all the rest of it. So actually, and I thought about it, I thought it actually makes an awful lot of sense. And what we've clearly got in our team are a load of marathon runners who might not, I don't want to say who's not going to get injured at the moment, because I'm a bit superstitious, truth be known. So I understand why we don't pack the team full of players with that outright pace. And the one player that we've got, who's obviously clearly got an abundance of twitch muscle, well, I actually think probably got 2, is Antonio. And, obviously we're having to wrap him in cotton wool. He's got specialist medics taking care of him and whatnot. And the other one is Ryan Fredericks, who sort of is also injured quite a lot. We don't notice it so much because he's not our first choice right back, but he gets injured every season, that's for sure. So this guy doesn't look like your sort of short, stocky Ben Johnson type sprinter. I mean Ben Johnson the sprinter, not Ben Johnson the West Ham right back and left back and right wing back. He's not got that Maurice Green look about him, He is a more stridey player, but he looks quick. He's decent. His movement is excellent, by the way. I've just spent the last probably half hour doing my Arthur Cabral research, so you don't need to. But I looked at it, I thought, yes, this guy this guy could well do the job. Before I move on, this video is sponsored by the One Football app. The link is in the description below. As ever, if you don't have the app, why not? It's free. Go and get it. If you don't like it, you can just delete it. I don't know why I keep pointing down. I'm telling you, the link's down below. Sign up to it. Sign up on your phone. When you log in, put that you support West Ham, and it will put all the West Ham news together into one place for you. Your one-stop shop for West Ham news. I've just looked at it, and in fact, I'm probably going to have to do another separate video just on general transfer rumours. But there's a lot of transfer stuff on there. That's on the One Football app. Go and check it out. Okay, let's get back onto Cabral. He's 6'1". Not the full Mahusevic, all right? Not the full Chunkenstein, but a good size. He's not the most thick set of players, but he's got tremendous movement. As I was just saying, tremendous movement inside the box. So he scores his fair share of headers. He really does. And I know it's sort of Antonio's job to I was going to say to stand in front of the keeper. So, but should we just say to stand on the keeper? And he does his job at set plays. But what he doesn't do is he doesn't really contest the ball to head it in overly, which I think is I think actually that is probably to the. He's got to do a job. I know he's there. He's a strong player. I get why he's doing it. But actually, Antonio's very, very good in the air. I think that's one other player that we could have contesting the headers and whatnot. This guy wouldn't do that. This guy would give us another physical presence. I noticed Graham Potter's talking about it. I don't know if you noticed Graham Potter's talking today about West Ham's threat from set pieces. How we've got a lot of big players. This guy would add to it. He's a poacher, but he can also drift out wide. So he's comfortable in all of those areas. But really finds space and movement well inside the pitch. Also, he doesn't have to be totally square on goal. He's quite creative in the way he sort of contorts his body. He don't mind hitting it with the outside of his foot or, sort of shinning it in or whatever the case may be. He's a goal scorer. There's no doubt about it. I don't want to say the stats for this season, but it feels like, I don't want to get it wrong, but it feels, in fact, do you know what am I talking about? I don't know why I'm trying to be overly cautious about it. I have actually read the stats. I just got a feeling that he scored a lot of goals in not many games. There you go. 25 goals in 26 games this season in all competitions. Now, he's been linked with Barcelona. And he's also been linked with Leeds, by the way. But so let's just sort of. I don't know if this is going to happen. I really don't know. But I'll tell you what. We know that Moyes is. I'm going to poo-poo the Barcelona and Leeds links in just a second. But I feel confident because, as I said, he's spoken about him publicly in the press, that Youssef En-Nesyri is Moyes' first choice target. This is the closest player I've seen to him. When I look at this guy play, I think, okay, he is very, very, a lot of similarities there, and I could just see him fitting in our team. But by the same token, by the same process of elimination and assessment, I don't look at him and I don't see him as a Barcelona player. I just don't. I really don't. There's nothing in there. How did Lionel Messi win the Ballon d'Or again? Did anybody explain that? How did Lionel Messi win the Ballon d'Or? It's just like they sat a hand out. Oh, look, I mean, he's possibly the greatest player of his generation, one of the greatest of all time. I'm not arguing the times he's won it before Messi. Sorry, it just popped into my mind. We're talking about Barcelona. But it's like they just handed it out. He wasn't the best player in the world last season. He just wasn't. There were loads better than him. Anyway, I'm not saying Cabral was one of them, by the way. But Cabral to Barcelona, I don't think so. Looking at about 17 million, whether that's euros or pounds sterling, don't know. Not a lot of difference between the two currencies at the moment. Anyway, Leeds, I mean, I'm not so sure. You'd go to West Ham. If I was him, I'd go to West Ham. I think most people go to West Ham before Leeds. Nothing against Leeds. I always speak highly of Leeds. Number one, I don't think the manager. I'm always surprised the manager's still around. Is he going to be there next season? Don't know. And secondly, they're just not. If you are a foreign player, unless you're steeped in the history, because historically Leeds are a fantastic club, amazing club under Don Revie, certainly. Andy Gray, what a player he was, by the way. I don't mean the Scottish one that does the commentary now for whatever. It used to be at Sky, didn't it? I mean the player Eddie Gray, not Andy Gray. Eddie Gray. What a player he was! Have you ever seen Eddie Gray play? Go and do YouTube footage of that guy. By the way, wow, he was good. Anyway, my point is historically Leeds were very good. Now, if you're a foreign player looking at Premier League, I will go to Leeds, go to West Ham. We know them. They're in the last 16 of European competition, and they're regularly mixing it up the top. in the Premier League. I think you come to us. Look, are we interested in him? Don't know. But as I say, look, Rob Newman's. Look, it was hard enough for us to keep it quiet before when it was just Sullivan and Moyes involved. Now we've got another aspect to it in Rob Newman. We've got another owner. He's going to need briefing as well on anyone that we're bidding for. There's now 2 other people that can link the news. I'm not suggesting Kretinsky and Newman are going to link the news, but just makes it all the harder. Are we in for this guy? Don't know. But from what I can see so far, I really like him. Go and check him out. Have a look. See what you think. Do a little Google search. Not a Google search, a YouTube search. See what you think. Looks like a good player.